here at McLean Stadium, which was built in 2014, and they haven't won in the city of Waco since 2009. They desperately need to finish this regular season on an up note. Mike Gundy in his 16th season, 53 years old. He's received a lot of criticism since that loss to Oklahoma a few weeks ago. The 6th straight loss for the Cowboys to their arch nemesis, and it really intensified after the loss at TCU last week. And across the way is Dave Aranda. After 11 wins in the program's first Big 12 title appearance, Matt Rule left for the Carolina Panthers, and everybody seems to think that this university hit a home run by hiring this guy.
They did. Dave Aranda, a big culture guy. Now that was thrown off because of COVID. You can't get together, you can't meet. So kind of late in this season, he told us this week he feels like that culture is finally starting to get built.
Cowboys are going to get the ball first. Noah Rauschenberg has it in the air, and off we go here in Waco. And they're going to start at the 25. So the Cowboys started out 4-0. They were considered college football playoff contenders early on in the year, but again, they've lost 3 of their last 5 and a shot at the Big 12 title. They started the season with 6 potential NFL draft picks. None of them will be playing today. It's been that kind of year. Spencer Sanders, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year in 2019, he's battled injuries too, and some inconsistency to boot.
Yeah, it really is. You see that 6 interceptions on the season. He just hasn't progressed this year like I think a lot of Oklahoma State fans were expecting.
Facing a very good Baylor defense, they looked super against the Sooners last week. Sanders wants to throw on first down, and it flutters out to the sideline at the 40, incomplete. Now this Baylor defense, they're aggressive, Rocky. A lot of movement. They're going to try and fluster the sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, they give a lot of looks, as you can see right there. A lot of looks for Spencer Sanders, try to confuse him. A lot of guys coming from a lot of different places.
The sophomore out of Denton, Texas, out of the gun. He has Desmond Jackson in the backfield. He wants to throw again. He was trying to set up the screen. He's good on his feet, and he finds some room and gets the ball downfield to Dillon Stoner, snaking his way to the end zone. And how about that big strike on the second play? Oklahoma State is on the board. It's a Stoner touchdown catch and run.
Unbelievable job with Spencer Sanders keeping the play alive. It was supposed to be a screen to the opposite side, but he uses legs, throws off the run, and finds Dillon Stoner wide open, who's now become the outside receiver with Tylan Wallace out of the game, and a huge strike early for this Oklahoma State offense.
Tylan Wallace, the All-American, suffering from an MCL strain. He is out of the game. And so Stoner, the #1 target, looks like it on that play. And the extra point is good for Brady Pohl. Good start for Sanders in Oklahoma State on the road. A reminder, tonight at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app, we're going to have the annual LA rivalry game between number 15 USC and UCLA at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The Trojans come in undefeated at 4-0. The victory bell is on the line. USC earns a berth in the Pac-12 title game with the win. That's coming up tonight.
And Keaton Slovis, USC's quarterback last year in this game, had 515 yards. And hoping he get the same kind of production. But how about Spencer Sanders? He must have heard me talking about him, questioning him, and I'm sure a lot of Oklahoma State fans kind of doing the same. As he talked about, he gets hurt early in that Tulsa game with a turnover. Didn't think he's really seen to this year, then finding your #1 target.
He's really at his best when he moves out of the pocket.
Yep.
One of the better running quarterbacks Mike Gundy's had. TCU put a spy on him last week and had quite a bit of success doing it. We'll see what kind of adjustments Baylor makes as they're going to have the football for the first time. This is a great return for Treston Ebner. He has a couple of kickoff return touchdowns for the Bears, and they're on the plus side of the field. A 47-yard return for the senior Ebner.
Oh, partner, for a game that was in question of even playing about a day ago, it's already had some fireworks. This is fun stuff. Look at Treston Ebner dealing with a high ankle sprain, takes the kickoff and gets the ball in great field position for his offense and sets up Charlie Brewer.
44th career game at Baylor for the senior out of Austin, Texas, Charlie Brewer. And there's a program record for a quarterback. He's taken virtually every snap this year. It's been a frustrating year for this quarterback too, and you can see that he takes a lot of punishment. Thrown down to the turf at the 45. It's going to be a loss of 7 as Trace Ford, just a sophomore, but already one of the best pass rushers in the Big 12, makes the hit.
Yeah, Baylor's offense might want to know every play where big number 94 is. An incredible get-off the line of scrimmage. That's what did it right there. The ball snapped, boom. He has a quick reaction time getting in the backfield, causing a big play.
That is the 28th time that Brewer has been sacked this year. He has a hard time staying upright. And he's going to just throw this one away. A ton of pressure. Leading the way, Walter Scheid and Tyler Lacey, an all Big 12 candidate. The Cowboys dominating the line of scrimmage so far here in this series.
And right here on third down, what Oklahoma State's got to be wary of is the run by Charlie Brewer. Max Duggan, TCU's quarterback, killed Oklahoma State on third down using his legs. They got to account for that.
Oklahoma State has the best third down defense in the conference, keeping opponents under 27%. Brewer steps up. He'll flip it out to Ebner, an excellent receiving running back, but he is stretched out and wrestled out by Christian Holmes, the cornerback. Grad transfer from Mizzou. And just like that, Baylor has to punt.
A lot of speed on this Cowboy defense as well. Christian Holmes, a good job, and Charlie Brewer is trying to keep this play alive. Finds the running back out on the outside, but then a lot of orange helmets just rallying to the football.
With the O-line for Baylor, you can see that there are still issues that they're working through.
And Clay, I think that's really hurt Charlie Brewer's development this year. It's just he hasn't been able to set his feet much and have to get rid of the ball a little too quick at times. That offensive line has got to get better going into next season.
Isaac Power with the punt. And Presley going to go nowhere. Gets across the 20 at the 21, and that's where Oklahoma State will have it, leading by 7 when we come back.
College football is presented by Tide. If it's got to be a clean you can trust, it's got to be Tide Hygienic Clean. And in part by Duluth Trading Company. Tough and genius workwear designed and tested by tradesmen.
Clay Matvick and Rocky Boyman back here in Waco. 7-0 Cowboys are going to get the ball for the second time. They had a 2-play series on their opening drive. 75-yard touchdown pass. Sanders to Stoner. And that play going nowhere. Shooting in Abram Smith, number 28, a converted running back. Had 12 tackles last week against the Sooners. He's been quite a story for the Baylor defense.
Yeah, beginning of the season, he was just playing special teams, wasn't even on the 2 deep, but has come on and really played well. Now, one area where Baylor is particularly thin today, Clay, is the secondary cornerbacks. They only have 3 cornerbacks with experience that are playing in this game. You already see that Oklahoma State took advantage.
Yeah, Kalen Barnes, a starter, and his backup Mark Milton are both out. Sanders goes to the outside. He's going to hit Tay Martin. Quiet year for the transfer from Washington State.
Tay Martin's going to get a lot more playing time today with no Tylan Wallace, no D. Anderson, no Langston Anderson. So number 4 is going to get some, obviously Landon Wolf, and we have already seen Dillon Stoner, who again moves from the slot all the way out to the outside wide receiver position. Spencer Sanders off to a nice start. This offense, Clay, is designed to receive the snap, boom, ball's got to come out. That's what this Gundy offense is all about. That's where I think he struggled. Just a little hesitation at times this year. So far looking good.
He's going to send 3 receivers to the top. Rolling out, pressure, and now he's going to tuck and run. And he's going to get the first down. Again, Sanders very good on his feet.
He's good. And this is one, though, where he had Dillon Stoner on the shallow crosser of him right there if he had seen it, but he took off and run. He's a good runner. He hasn't been as dynamic of a runner this year for whatever reason, but done a good job at least picking up a few yards.
And now I got movement on the offensive line, I think, unless they were drawn up.
Ball start, offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, and first down.
The offensive line has the same starting five for the second straight week. That's the first time in 6 weeks. I mean, you talk about an O-line group that has been decimated by injuries from week one. It's the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah, the offensive line, game one, they lose their starting right guard and right tackle against Tulsa. They're done for the year. Then Tevin Williams opts out or whatever for the rest of the season. So this offensive line, very much patchwork.
Sanders should have been caught. As Jelani Woods, the big 6'7", 275-pound Cowboy back, can't haul it in.
Yeah, and that's a guy you think, again, with Tylan Wallace being out of the game, they'll try to get the ball to big number 89, large target. That's one you got to come up with, though, right there.
You mentioned Tevin Jenkins, who was injured in that Bedlam game, opting out. Third game without their right tackle. Also, Chuba Hubbard opting out. That became official today. The All-American running back who led the country in rushing last year. Lacking some star power here late in the year. 2nd and 15. Sanders looking left. He's going to throw that way. Man wide open against that zone. And that is Martin with his 8th catch of the year. 2nd on this series.
Baylor showed some pressure there and then wound up dropping out. You see the linebackers dropping out, just rush 3. Nice pocket there for Spencer Sanders. Puts the ball in the money.
Tay Martin was a regular in Mike Leach's offense at Wazoo. That's intercepted. Sanders is picked off by Christian Morgan, who has had an interception in 3 straight weeks now.
Great job. Saw Jalen Petrie with a little bit of pressure. Gets in at the feet of Spencer Sanders. Didn't look like he could really step into that football, and then just a nice juggle. You'll see the pressure come from his right. His little bit has to step back. Maybe again, just can't really just drive into that throw the way he wanted. He puts it up for grabs.
Well, I tell you, Christian Morgan is on fire right now for Baylor.
Yeah, he's a really, really good player. Him, talk about Jalen Petrie, who is the best player on this Cowboy defense. He's available to play, got a little dinged up last week, but Bears are happy he's back. He brings the pressure there, and again, with so many cornerbacks out, these safeties got to step up, and they have.
So Charlie Brewer and the Bears went 3 and out on their first attempt. Good field position to start this drive at their own 37. They're going to run it. And Treston Ebner, you talked about a Rocky with that ankle sprain. Giving it a go, looks pretty sharp so far. He is not much of a between the tackles runner, and that's really where Baylor struggles. Quaylon Jones, we could see him today. He's missed the last couple of games with a concussion. He's more of a between the tackles guy. Getting to the edge, Ebner, and they'll move the chains.
It's a good job by Ebner, but just to follow up on the running backs, they're also without Jonah White today, who was a scratch just before game time. He's kind of the big back, did some dirty work in the middle, but also in the pass game. So a lot of Ebner and a lot of Jones today.
Ebner again, and this time Oklahoma State reads it beautifully. Cameron Murray, the veteran defensive tackle, always seems to be in the backfield. And that's going to be a loss of about 4.
Yeah, big number 92 is a tough guy to block. Creates a lot of havoc up there in the front. This is just a fun defensive play. And, you know, Jim Knowles, his answer to probably everything is pressure, aggression, bring it. Those guys out there do it well.
Jim Knowles in his 3rd year now as defensive coordinator. It's been a big play defense in recent weeks. It's going to get it back to the original line of scrimmage and a couple yards more. As Henderson makes that catch. Backup tight end. As their top tight end, Ben Sims, is out. Drake Dabney also out. Another position really affected by injuries. 3rd and 8.
Now with no Tyquan Thornton available, R.J. Sneed, there he is right there. He's the top go-to wide receiver. Especially good with a deep ball. The back shoulder throws, how they like him too.
Brewer out of the pocket, looking downfield. Penalty marker thrown, and Brewer is forced out of bounds. Trace Ford got to the quarterback. Now we'll see what the flag is about.
Trace Ford says, give me a breather. I'm chasing the quarterback around all day early here. It's hard to believe he's just a sophomore.
Offense number 56. Penalty is declined, brings up 4th down.
That's Blake Bettier, the right tackle. You know, I want to clear something up, Rocky, about the 47 players, coaches, and staff that we said are unavailable today for Baylor. Not all COVID related. That's just people who are unavailable. Some of it's COVID, contact tracing, what have you. But it's just there are a lot of people that are unable to contribute today for Baylor.
Yeah, just a lot of injuries at that point in the season. It's late, so yeah, a lot of those missing players are due to injury.
So a couple of duds on the first 2 possessions for the Bears. And Isaac Power will come on, try to flip the field here. Presley's going to let it bounce. And then he tries to scoop it up and run, and he's hammered at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, you got to come up and grab that ball. Fair catch that thing about the 12-yard line.
Cowboys and Bears looking into the regular season on a high note in Waco today. 7-0 Cowboys. 7-0 Oklahoma State leading Baylor. 8:19 to go here in the first. Hey, if you can't make it to Miami, join us virtually for the College Football Playoff all-access experience featuring exclusive content and the chance to win prizes. Register today at collegefootballplayoff.com/all-access. We've had a lot of games canceled this week in college football, including a couple in the Big 12. But boy, Bill Hancock, executive director of the College Football Playoff, made that statement today.
That's right.
That they are going to do whatever they have to do, take every measure possible to play those semifinals on January 1st, the Rose and the All-State Sugar Bowl, and get that national championship game on January 11th to go off without a hitch.
Yeah, Clay, look, it's been a long, hard road for a lot of teams. These players, these coaches have had to deal with a lot more than any other season. But let's finish this thing right. We're going to get this playoff going, and I can't wait.
And despite COVID and tons of injuries, we've got a game here today in Waco. Sanders, the quarterback for the Cowboys, has a touchdown pass and an interception.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's been the interceptions for Spencer Sanders this year. It's hurt him.
That was his 7th pick of the year on that last drive. They'll run it up the middle with Desmond Jackson. Over 350 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns the last couple of weeks. When we talked to Mike Gundy this week, he told you and I that the injuries to Chuba Hubbard and L.D. Brown have been a blessing in disguise. We discovered what we had in Jackson.
Yeah, this guy had 235 yards versus Texas Tech a couple weeks ago. Good downhill runner. Doesn't take any negative yardage plays. It's been a nice find there for Oklahoma State.
See what they can do on 3rd down and 4.
Pressure.
And it comes off the edge. It's picked up. Penalty flag. Caught. Braden Johnson on the perimeter. That's going to be enough for a 1st down unless this penalty marker goes against the Cowboys. Our referee today, Brad Van Vark out of Pella, Iowa.
Offside. Defense number 8. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
That's Jalen Petrie, number 8, who's been playing at such a high level for Baylor.
He does everything for this Baylor defense, including coming off the edge. That time just a little too early. Boy, he screams off that outside either way. It's tough for the Cowboy offense.
Kevin Dunn, the Oklahoma State offensive coordinator, said we have to know where number 8 is every single minute. Now we got a stoppage here, as the officials are gesturing to something.
Well, they want the band to stop? Is that what it was?
The band got called out.
They're booing it.
So the referee stuffs a towel in the tuba. Here's a throw deep downfield for Sanders, looking for Stoner again. There's plenty of contact. Yeah, and Laundry comes out. But how about that catch in spite of the contact for Dillon Stoner?
Incredible. You said it, partner. He was fighting hands in contact by Raleigh Tejada for about 6 or 8 yards of that route and still finds a way to come down with it. Moonshot, drops it in the bucket. Dillon Stoner's one of those guys. I don't know why he runs a 40 in, but
defense number 3. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a catch and a 1st down.
You know, but he's just one of those great route runners, sure-handed guy, and just really stepping in the spotlight here without Tylan Wallace.
That's a gain of 35, goes to the 43 of Baylor. Go back to Jackson on that left side. Dillon Stoner's had 3 straight years of 40-plus catches. Yeah, you're right. Tylan Wallace has been getting most of the headlines, but Stoner has been such a compliment to Wallace the last few years.
Well, that's the thing is I think Tylan Wallace gets a lot of the attention, then Dillon Stoner just really winds up wreaking havoc on the defense.
No gain on that last play, 2nd and 10 for the Cowboys. And they'll run it again. Tracking through the middle is Jackson. And he gets it inside the 40.
And that's the thing, that this Cowboy offense really needs to run the football. They run a lot of stretch, a lot of zone running, but that sets up the RPO, the run-pass option for Spencer Sanders. So if they can't run it, though, it really eliminates how effective that pass off it can be.
It'll be a big test for Jackson in the running game for the Cowboys. This defense held Oklahoma in check last week. They held them to 76 yards rushing. So here's Sanders on 3rd and 5, and that out route is working. There's Dillon Stoner again. They'll keep the drive alive.
They may have to start doubling Dillon Stoner because he's just eating this Baylor secondary, these cornerbacks especially, alive right now.
They're picking on Zeke Brown.
That's right. Well, it's Zeke Brown's first start. He's a former walk-on. You know, he's a senior, but yeah, without Kalen Barnes out there, Zeke Brown has to pick it up, and they're picking on him early.
Here's Jackson picking his way right up the middle, inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Yeah, this defense held the Sooners to 278 yards and 27 points last week. Oklahoma hadn't scored less than 28 in the game in 60 games.
9, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
But they're on their heels right now.
Yeah, they really are. And you just mentioned again last week, Ramondre Stevenson, the great Oklahoma running back, they held him to 49 yards on the ground. So doing a good job, but right now is minus the turnover last series. This Oklahoma State offense really rolling.
Let's see what they did last week.
Yeah, there you go.
Ron Roberts, first-year defensive coordinator, came to Baylor from Louisiana Lafayette. Little end around. Johnson nearly had it stripped. I don't know how he held on to that football. He was tracked down by Christian Morgan and J.T. Woods and almost lost the football in the process.
That ball looked like it was on the ground. Here comes the rip right there. Able to hang on to it. But this is money time here for Spencer Sanders. This is where he's got to be good. A couple of times last week, they get the ball turned over. The defense gets the ball back to their offense inside the 30. We're not able to score at all. Spencer Sanders has got to be good in this area of the field.
And he wants to throw for the first down. Goes to that little out route again, and this time it's Landon Wolf keeping the drive alive. They'll move the chains, and now they're in the red zone where things have gotten a little ticklish for Oklahoma State. Just 17 touchdowns and 40 trips. Just way too many field goal tries. And lately the kicking game's been so bad that hasn't helped them either.
I think Spencer Sanders using his legs down this area of the field can be key for him.
Sanders, a tunnel screen, and oh my, Tay Martin is dehorned at the 15-yard line. This may be targeting. Penalty flags come out quickly.
If it is, that was on Jalen, would be on Jalen Petrie.
Well, you can hear it all the way up here, and we're on the 5th story. Now Martin giving the thumbs up. It looks like he's going to be okay. He's shaking out the cobwebs.
Saying, let me eat.
And that was a vicious hit. I'm not saying it was dirty. It may have been clean, but I think the officials are talking about potential targeting.
It's one of those bang-bang kind of plays here.
The result of the play is a completed pass, personal foul, targeting, defense number 8. That play is under further review.
So now it's going to go upstairs to our replay official, David Ames.
It's got to be forcible contact to a head or neck area. That's what we're looking at. And that looked like it was.
And there was helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah. There's another angle. That angle Not quite as easy. You see, look at that first angle that it was forcible contact to the head or neck area.
Petrie, such a key part of this defense, already shorthanded. The star backer, Jalen Petrie, a pick 6 in back-to-back games against Iowa State and Texas Tech. He is the most physical player on this D.
He really is. With Terrell Bernard out of it, after seeing that a couple times, Clay, I don't know if it looked like the head went back, but I'm not sure it was Petrie's helmet that did the damage there.
Foul for targeting. It's second down, Oklahoma State.
That's huge break there for Baylor, making sure their best defensive player is still able to remain in the game. As I was saying, the linebacker, Terrell Bernard, unbelievable linebacker, maybe the best linebacker I've seen in college football in the last 4 years. He's done for the season with a shoulder injury, so Jalen Petrie becomes the guy and has made a ton of plays down the stretch here.
$7-0 Oklahoma State. They're averaging 28 points per game. They haven't averaged less than 30 since 2014. Not as explosive as they've been, but they're going to go to Stoner in the end zone, and he's got a second touchdown catch. Boy, Dillon Stoner is making an impact on this game and making it early.
Dillon Stoner has been unstoppable, and that was against Raleigh Tejada, the best cover guy right now for Baylor. Goes up and gets it, concentration, and then fights for it, right? You got to grab that ball, snatch it out of the sky. Don't let the defender come in and rip it out. Just a great job, concentration, hauling that thing in. Maybe just a tad underthrown, but he makes it.
An 11-play, 92-yard scoring drive. As Cole comes on for his second extra point. These are not a given these days for the Cowboys, but he gets this one, and it's 14-0. Stoner and the Pokes out to a terrific start here today in Waco. Well, we're a little over 11 minutes into this game, and Dillon Stoner already has 133 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Tell you what, if you're Baylor right now, I don't see how you can single cover him the rest of the game. You got to put a corner on him and then throw a safety over top. He's having a monster day already.
Sanders 7 for 7 on that last drive. Let's go to the studio for an update. All right, Matt, thanks a lot. We're expecting a ton of points in that one.
Yes, Sam Howell, a good job leading that offense. But now Charlie Brewer has got to get this offense back on track. And there's Justin Johnson. We talked about him at the start. He is the one calling plays today, with Larry Fedora and really every other offensive coach not able to participate in this game. Got to get Charlie Brewer in the groove here.
He gets it out quickly. And it's a screen. That's what they want to do. Gavin Holmes, they're going to have a lot of short passes today. They really don't have a deep threat, Rocky, which also makes it hard to run the ball, which has been a big problem for them this year.
Yeah, Snead has been that guy at times, but with no Thornton today and no run game either. A lot of short passes, I think, is what we're going to see.
And clogging up the middle, that Oklahoma State front. Ebner gets nothing. There's Martin, who had a scoop and score last week at TCU. Brock Martin, the junior out of the state of Oklahoma.
I think Charlie Brewer's got to run around. I really do. And they've been seeing more and more of that early in the season. I think they tried to make him something he's not, which is a pocket guy. Seeing him run more, I think he's got to do it today with so many weapons out.
Fakes the handoff quickly. Again, Holmes. Great closing speed by Christian Holmes. Holmes tackling Holmes. It's quickly third down.
Right now, Baylor has no run game, no real deep threat so far in this game. So, of course, Oklahoma State knows this quick passing game is coming, and they are right on it. It's just hard to be one-dimensional in the game of football.
Boy, 3rd and long, not good against this defense. They've been so good defensively on third down, best in the Big 12. Brewer has time now, loses time, and just throws it away. Calvin Bundage and Tyler Lacey heating up the quarterback, and Baylor will have to punt. This offense just unable to get on track.
Trace Ford, Calvin Bundage, two great rushers coming off the outside. You see at the top, Trace Ford with a great get-off, forces Brewer away from his throwing arm. Calvin Bundage in on it, and then Brewer just has to throw the thing away. If you can get pressure on a quarterback, Clay, with just a three-man rush, it's going to be a long day for your offense.
Brennan Presley back to return another punt from Isaac Power. It's a low snap, but he gets off a good kick. And backs Presley inside the 20. Takes a hit, spins out of it. Gets to the sideline, to the 30, almost to the 35-yard line for the true freshman out of Tulsa. And Sanders and the offense will go back to work with 1:41 to go here in the opening quarter. So next week, it'll be the Sooners and Iowa State in Arlington for the Big 12 championship. Both teams not playing this week. They're going to be well rested for that rematch, which the Clones won 37-30 October 3rd in Ames. What are you expecting there?
Oklahoma is rolling right now. You know, Iowa State got that win early in the season. That dropped Oklahoma to 0-2 in the conference, and then since then, Oklahoma's rattled off 6 straight wins and looked very, very impressive doing it. That's going to be a great football game coming up here next week.
Dr. Pepper, Big 12 preview. Looking forward to it. Boy, Baylor kept the Sooners offense in check last week. They did not look sharp. And, you know, Baylor controlled the pace of play for the lion's share of that game. The offense doesn't look the same this week, though.
That's right. Oklahoma defense really looked good. Perkins getting after the quarterback. Nice unit there.
So Sanders has been pretty good here so far. Couple of touchdown passes, has thrown a pick. And he's run well when he's had to. Escorted out at the 39. That's going to be a gain of 6 for Spencer Sanders, the sophomore out of Denton, Texas.
Good decision there by Spencer Sanders, as we talked about. He's just made some bad decisions with the football. Okay, it's not there. They're covered up. Don't try to force it. Just pick up a few yards with your legs. That's all you got to do. Live to fight another day. I can't tell you how many offensive coaches have told me that's what they got to get through to their quarterbacks. These quarterbacks always want to make plays. I get it, but sometimes the play is just let's get them next time.
This will be the first run of the day for Dominic Richardson, and he's got a first down. True freshman out of Bishop McGuinness High School in Oklahoma City. We haven't seen L.D. Brown yet. So Sanders, and you talked about his numbers not quite as good as they were last year, really not that close. But how much of not having a healthy Chuba Hubbard this year has affected his play?
And that's huge. I mean, this offense, at the start of the season, the whole offense revolved around getting Chuba Hubbard the ball in space, running the ball, passing it, getting him in mismatches. With him not being a part of this offense most of the season, it's been a big detriment.
The play action. And Stoner bobbled it, and did he make the catch?
See if he's
he got it.
Yeah, they called it a catch.
Boy, everything going Stoner's way today.
See a little RPO action, a little on the run, and I don't know about that one.
Further review.
Yeah, they're going to look at it again.
Yeah, that ball was bobbled. That was pretty clear. As he's securing it, looked like that even that left foot was out, then the right foot. I think that one's going to come back.
How about this start, though, overall for Oklahoma State today? We talked about the disappointment last week in the loss at TCU. But Mike Gundy was adamant. He said, I was disappointed with the loss, obviously. It was no shot at the Big 12 title. But I wasn't disappointed with the effort. And I really think my guys are still invested.
The effort was there, especially defensively. That entire game, to force the 5 takeaways, those guys defense were ripping at the ball, punching it out. Effort's not the problem. And that's one of the things you look at and, do we move away from a coach or not? I think if the team is still playing hard and fighting for them, regardless of what the game is and what the score is, I think that says a lot about the coaching staff.
They're playing for 3rd place in the Big 12 for a 2nd straight year. It would be their 8th top 3 finish in the last decade. Not what they had hoped for, especially after that 4-0 start, but it's where they are now.
And, folks calling for him to leave and all that sort of thing, and I understand it, but this has been so many circumstances, especially with the offensive line, your best offensive player, one of the best offensive players in the country not available. It makes it tough on any program.
So we're looking at that catch of Dillon Stoner's, or no catch. It was ruled a catch on the field. 37 seconds to go here in the opening quarter.
It was fun talking to Coach Gundy this week, though, wasn't it? He's just always great to kind of get into, and he kind of says the way it is.
After reviewing the play, the receiver was bobbling the ball and did not gain possession until his foot was out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be second down at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, that's the right call. Yeah, and he vented to us a little bit too. There's been a lot of frustration throughout this year, with the COVID and all of the protocols and stuff. And then the 4-0 start goes south. Injuries, another year without a Big 12 title. Yeah, the critics have been getting after him a little bit.
He still hasn't had a losing season in 15 years. That's pretty good.
2nd and 10. Twin receivers to either side. Sanders gets it to Wolf. There's Landon Wolf, almost to the first down marker, about a half yard short. Wolf came to Oklahoma State as a walk-on, and he has turned in a nice career. Senior from Tulsa.
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job here. But I see with Baylor, with being thin at cornerback, they're playing off. They're not really challenging these wide receivers, and I think Spencer Sanders is just finding a way to pick them apart. They got to get up and challenge those guys a little bit, get in their face, try to disrupt some routes. Can't allow Spencer Sanders to just play pitch and catch all year.
First quarter comes to an end. It's been all Oklahoma State here in the early going in Waco. They haven't won here in over a decade, trying to change that today in Bear Country.
Delicious nachos topped with all your favorites, only at Taco Bell.
Clay Matvick, Rocky Boyman, and our ESPN crew here in Waco, Texas, McLean Stadium, as we start the second quarter. It was a good first quarter for Oklahoma State. 213 total yards for the Cowboys, just 15 for Baylor. And there's a first down run for Richardson. Let's go to the studio, another update with Matt. Shot clear is one of the great stories in college football in 2020. You and I enjoyed watching that BYU game last week.
Picked to finish last in the conference, and what a season.
Off the play fake, Sanders has a couple of touchdown throws to Stoner. He's got him again. And he shakes loose. How about it? Yes, touchdown, Stoner. He's got the hat trick here in the first half.
He comes from the opposite side of the field, a long drag route across, and they just lose him, Clay. And I don't know how you lose a guy that's had 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just kind of slow plays it. And then goes all the way across those Raleigh Tejada. Just could not make up the ground to get to Dillon Stoner. He makes him pay.
Six plays, 67 yards, and another touchdown for Stoner. The big question today is, who's going to find the offense? So far, it has been Oklahoma State and Dillon Stoner. Receiver Tylan Wallace is out, but no problem for Oklahoma State. They've got Dillon Stoner. He's got 3 TD catches.
Yeah, here he is. He's going to go on a crossing route. And here's Raleigh Tejada. He's got to anticipate this and get over the top, and he just doesn't quite get there. The speed, I think, of Stoner surprised Tejada. Just kind of gives him a little lazy, and then you see he has to bubble over a little bit too far. That's just enough room. What a great play design by Mike Gundy there.
5 catches, 173 yards, and the 3 touchdown receptions for Stoner. And the Baylor offense has been anemic here so far today. They'll start at about the 26-yard line. Ebner gets up, a little ginger after that kickoff return. Again, he's dealing with that ankle sprain.
He's had that high ankle sprain coming into this game. There's Justin Johnson. He's calling the plays today. He's normally the running back coach. Right now, this offense has had a struggle today.
And a lot on his plate. Justin Johnson, 32 years old, calling plays for the first time.
Ever.
They don't have 5 of their best pass catchers. They don't have 4 of their running backs. They don't have their 2 best tight ends, but go out there and call a game. Good luck to you.
It's tough. Not set up for success.
End around to Gavin Holmes. That is strung out well. Jarek Bernard Converse, who moved to cornerback this year. He's been a safety the last couple of years. Great closing speed.
And just, you can see this Oklahoma State defense is not threatened at all by the run. They're not threatened deep, so they're just, especially on the outside and the perimeter, they're just really pressing. So it's just hard for a jet sweep to find any room to go.
And this is a defense that's missing Rodarius Williams, their best corner. Also strong safety Trey Sterling, unlikely to see the field today. They've been dominant, and there is a hit in the backfield. Shooting through is Brock Martin, the defensive end. He's had a good first half, too.
He had a great game last week with the touchdown, just knifing in. You know, and you can just see the offensive line just having issues. That's not like a complicated look that Oklahoma State gave. Brock Martin just decides to just knife inside. They weren't ready for it, and it's a negative play.
Martin won 3 Oklahoma high school wrestling championships. Guy you don't want to mess with. Here's Brewer backpedaling inside the 5, nothing downfield. And that's going to be intentional grounding, I think.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 79. That penalty is declined, brings up 4th down.
Everything just out of sync for the Baylor Bears. That is Casey Phillips. Left guard has really been a mess for this team the last few weeks. Xavier Newman-Johnson has been banged up, so it's been Phillips and Keith, Khalil Keith, who have been filling in. That penalty brings up 4th down, and Power will have to punt from out in front of the end zone.
Yeah, Baylor trying to run a screen right there, but Oklahoma State's defense, again, just sniffed it out. There was nowhere to go for Charlie Brewer.
Presley calling for the fair catch. The Cowboys will have it at midfield with 12:51 to go here in the half. Another update in the studio. Let's go to Matt. Talk about a player that has taken the country by storm. That's Sarah Fuller.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a day for Sanders so far. 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, outside that 1 interception he had on the 2nd series, he's been magnificent today. Looks comfortable, looks in control. A little wildcat here. Really?
Now Sanders backs into the traditional shotgun, fakes the pass, the pump, rolling out. He's going to just lob it away. And lands out of bounds, incomplete. Let's take a look at our college football playoff rankings brought to us by AT&T 5G. Easy win for #1 Alabama today. Ohio State, Michigan canceled. Texas A&M, Ole Miss postponed. Got Florida coming up after us here on ESPN. Gators can't afford a misstep. Yeah. They're in that SEC title game already against Alabama, but the Gators have college football playoff aspirations. Big hole, Desmond Jackson picks up the 1st down. That's his best run today.
Just quickly mention Florida versus LSU today. They want to really just put that one away with authority. But back to this action, Desmond Jackson, we talked about him. Chuba Hubbard being out, he's really taking command of this running back position. A little dinged up.
And again, we haven't seen L.D. Brown. They were hoping to get him 20 snaps today. He's got a grade 2 MCL strain. I mean, sore but not torn. Here's Sanders, stays clean in the pocket. They're picking on that corner again. And that's another catch for Landon Wolf. The out routes in front of those corners are just devastating to this Baylor defense.
There's no tight coverage on the back end, and there's no real pressure on Spencer Sanders. He's playing 7-on-7 back there. I just really think this Baylor defense has got to get up in the face of these wide receivers, challenge them, get them off their timing with these routes.
It's a completed pass for a first down. That ruling is under further review.
Now we're going to take another look upstairs. You know, going back to the playoff rankings, when we talked about Ohio State and Michigan being canceled today, part of several COVID cancellations in college football. But the Buckeyes, who are 5-0, will play for the Big Ten title next week as we take another look at this pass play. That's a catch.
That catch to me.
After review, the ruling on the field of a completed pass is confirmed. First down.
And they make the quick decision. But what did you think of the Big Ten scrapping that 6-game requirement?
I was fine with it because it wasn't like college football made that rule and the Big Ten had the lobby for it. No, the Big Ten made that rule up and they didn't even have to. And I think Ohio State very early on was very much proactive and, hey, let's play this season, let's do this. I didn't have any problem with it. I think if Ohio State takes care of business against Northwestern, they got to play that game. But if they do and if they win with authority, I think they got a good chance of getting in.
I can understand a lot of people having a problem with it, especially if you're an Indiana fan. There's a big hole up the middle, and Richardson's going to take it in. The true freshman with his first career touchdown run.
And Dominic Richardson today has been running over people. He's been looking, just coming downhill the speed, and boom. And that's the third Baylor Bear he has run over today. Wow. And that's what it's all about, whether it's football, life, whatever. If you get an opportunity and Chuba Hubbard's out, someone else gets a chance and you shine. That's great.
This doesn't look like the same defense that gave the Sooners fits last week. It looks like a shell of itself. And it's a 4-touchdown lead. We still have 11:30 to go before half. Oklahoma State getting contributions from the freshman class. Dominic Richardson scoring for the Pokes.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tide. If it's got to be a clean you can trust, it's got to be Tide Hygienic Clean. And in part by Disney Safety, now streaming on Disney+.
28-0 Oklahoma State here in Waco, even though they're without a couple of key Cowboys. Chuba Hubbard, who has opted out for the rest of the season. He's been injured most of the year anyhow. Tylan Wallace, a great receiver, All-Americans both. Scoring points right now hasn't been a problem. No, you're not a big fan of the opting out thing. Chuba Hubbard making that official today. He's turning his attention now toward the NFL. As that fair catch is called for by Ebner, and Baylor will get it at the 25.
I just don't know why you can't. Okay, if you're hurt, you don't have to play. I get that, but why don't you just, you throw your jersey on, you stay, you meet with the team, you stand on the sideline, you be a part of the team, see the thing out, finish what you started. I just don't understand opting out. Again, they used to call that something different back in the day. Now you can opt out on the season. I just think coaches at the next level are going to look at that and say, boy, if things go bad in the season, as the season goes to the end, is this guy going to give up? Is he going to quit? I think it's something to look at.
There's Ebner spinning. That's one of the better runs for the Bears. That's a 9-yard pickup as we go back to the studio and Matt. Fighting Mac Browns. There's going to be some points on the board today. Right now it's a little lopsided there.
Yeah, about that.
That's first down. Boy, did Baylor need that as Ambamiga made that tackle. Amen Ogbongbemiga, the linebacker out of Calgary, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. He had those 3 forced fumbles last week against TCU.
And those weren't just him reaching in there and happening to knock the ball. He was actively ripping at that thing. It was great. You know, that's one of the biggest differences I see from pro to college. In college, okay, guys are just content with making the tackle. The pro level, every single play, those guys are punching, ripping at that ball, but Ogbongbemiga's got the idea down here at the college level. Good player.
This O-line maybe starting to find some traction for Baylor. Dave Aranda said this week that they took a step back last week in that game against the Sooners. Oh, nothing this time for Treston Ebner as Malcolm Rodriguez, number 20, the leader of that defense, shoots through.
And if the defensive line is allowed to penetrate the way it is, your run game doesn't have a chance. Because now the running back is having to bounce and having to bubble that thing outside before he can even get 2 steps downhill. If you're on a zone stretch game, you got to give a little bit of time so that running back can feel it out and be able to make a cut. Right now, he doesn't have that opportunity.
3rd down and 6. Brewer, little shovel pass, and that's incomplete. Well, they just don't have a run game to keep drives going, and then the passing game has been affected too by the pressure, and Brewer and the offense will walk off. Right now, 7 yards rushing. And they only had 25 last week in the entire game.
And I think coming in the game, they wanted to pass the ball to be able to run it, but they can't pass it, they can't run it. And what's going on is there's no threat to stretch the field. So Oklahoma State is just up in there and really doing a good job.
Presley calling for the fair catch. And Oklahoma State leading 28-0 with 9:15 to go before half. We'll have it at the 27.
Hey, yo.
Semifinals, New Year's Day. The college football playoff lives on ESPN.
The Rose Bowl and the All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. It's going to be a beautiful national holiday. And there was a time back in late summer we didn't even know if we were going to have college football in the fall.
Right.
And we're talking about that big New Year's Day semifinal.
Those games on New Year's Day, that's how God intended. I'm so happy
that's
that we're going to get that.
The Rose and the Sugar this year. That pass is incomplete for Sanders. He's 13 for 19, 246. 3 touchdowns. He did have the interception, but he has looked sharp.
He's made good decisions. He hasn't, other than that second drive where he forced one a little bit. Outside of that, he's been picking this defense apart, and then when it's not there, he's just tucking it and running or throwing it away.
Oh, look at this.
Pass to yourself.
That's completion. And Sanders will run ahead in a handful.
I thought he was going to try to throw. I think he wanted to throw it again, which then he thought about it and said, that would have been an equal forward pass. But
you know, offensive coordinator Kevin Dunn and quarterback coach Tim Ratte have really worked hard on his skill set and his confidence, and he looks like a confident quarterback today. Backpedaling, dumps it off to Desmond Jackson. He's a pretty good receiver out of the backfield as well as a runner. And it's going to be 3rd down. Baylor recruited Sanders. Former player of the year in Texas, Ryan High School there in Denton. I misspoke. It's actually 4th down, and Cowboys will have to kick it away. Tom Hutton, 30-year-old sophomore from Australia, comes on for the first time. Fair catch made at the 33 by Ebner. Well, kick off your Week 14 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the app. We're going to have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and preview each game right up to kickoff. There's been a learning curve for former Baylor head coach Matt Rule. Carolina Panthers are 4-8 under his leadership. They play the Broncos tomorrow. We were talking about Dave Aranda earlier.
During the kick, holding number 16 of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, first down.
And Aranda, said Matt Rule left him a very strong culture, Rocky, and the players really liked him. But now he feels that they've accepted his staff.
Well, and that's the thing is these players were really hurt when Rule left because they really loved him, really loved playing for him. That doesn't say anything bad against Dave Aranda, but they kind of took it personal. And I think what Aranda told us this week was it finally took getting toward the end of the season. Now they're starting to talk about things that the Aranda staff has made points of emphasis instead of saying, well, Coach, that's how we used to do it. We used to do it this way with Rule. Now it's becoming more Aranda's team.
Quaylen Jones is in the game in the backfield, but they get it to Sneed. That's one of the bigger plays of the day for this Baylor offense. R.J. Sneed with a pickup of about 15 and a first down.
Yeah, and look, just get the ball in the hands of your best playmakers. You don't have a ton of them at your disposal here today if you're Baylor, but let's keep finding number 0 there.
And here is Quaylen Jones. Pick up a couple. He missed the last 2 games with a concussion. He's a redshirt freshman out of Grand Prairie, Texas.
A little zone read action and winds up just giving it there to Jones. Not a ton of room there on the outside. Yeah, you said missed a couple weeks. Now back in action.
And the running back room is hardly what it was at the beginning of the year. So many injuries. And now Brewer is going to be sacked. Swung down at the 35 by Brock Martin.
There's just a lot of pressure up the middle here. And then just a little stunt. Brock Martin comes around. And just Brewers holding on to that football maybe a little bit too long. That shot clock's going to go off in your head. Brock Martin making a ton of plays. We talked, he had the touchdown last week off the forced fumble.
He's been good.
Really good.
A lot of big plays for this defense this year. 8 takeaways, 2 defensive touchdowns the last 2 weeks for this unit. Brewer needs to get to the 45 of Oklahoma State for a first down. They're not going to get it. In fact, they're not even going to get a completion as Seth Jones can't hang on. That would have been the first career catch for Seth Jones. I mean, they're so far down the depth chart at all these positions.
Yeah, but I don't care who's out there. If it's 3rd and 17, there's not a lot of answers out there. Oklahoma State rushes just 3. They drop 8 in the coverage. They keep everything in front of them, and just another bad series offensively for Baylor.
Isaac Power is getting a workout. Another fair catch. 28-0 Oklahoma State. 6:15 to go before half. There's the Oklahoma State offensive coordinator Casey Dunn in his 10th year with the Cowboys. First as the play caller. Got promoted after Sean Gleason left for Rutgers. Without key players like Chuba Hubbard and Tylan Wallace, he's been having to manufacture offense. Well, the manufacturing's come pretty easy today.
It really has.
So far.
Spencer Sanders looks comfortable. There's another deep shot.
Looking for Tay Martin. He had to adjust to that ball in flight, and he made the catch. No, he's going to be overruled.
Side judge comes in, says no catch.
And something tells me we've got another review in the offing.
Sanders puts a lot of loft on this ball. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, again, the ball can hit the ground, but it can't aid in the catch. And I think especially with that being called a no catch on the field, I don't think there's anything happening there.
We've had a few reviews already. We'll see if we get a snap off before they call down. And we play on. There's Stoner again. What a first half he's had.
I'm still just shocked at the amount of off coverage. And I understand you don't want to get your guys beat deep, your short corner, but just really just playing 7-on-7 right now, Spencer Sanders.
3rd down and 3. And he's going to try and run for the first down. Takes a pop. Wow. Abram Smith just leveled him, but somehow Sanders shrugged it off and got the first down.
A great decision by Spencer Sanders. And there's been times this year he'll just throw that ball into coverage. Instead, he just tucks it and run. And then how about that? Taking a shot from Abram Smith, but spins out of it and picks up the first down. That's no easy task. Big number 28, a nice player. Good job, Spencer Sanders.
Here's Richardson, the freshman, already has a touchdown today. And that is a great run on first down. Give him 11. They're finding some depth in that running back core.
The freshman, look, it's going to start this way, but he just knows when to bend it back. Okay, that's zone running is an art. Okay, when do you bounce it outside? When do you just pound it up in there? When do you cut it back? That's all just a special quality of a running back, and the young freshman looks like he has a handle on it.
And these coaches, that's why this game is important, that it's being played today. Gets other players an opportunity to shine. Richardson's doing that.
See, and they're the same thing, a zone run off to the right, but instead of bouncing it back inside, cutting it back, just sometimes you just got to stick that thing up in there and move the pile a little bit.
6 foot, 205 pounds out of Oklahoma City.
He runs bigger than 205, though, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Lowers his shoulder out there. Mike Gundy's happy about that.
Again, he found out what Desmond Jackson is made of the last few weeks out of El Dorado, Arkansas.
There's Stoner up at the top, off coverage. No safety currently over the top.
Let's see if they pick on the corner again. Nope, they're going to run it. That's a deep handoff. And that time Richardson is brought down by T.J. Franklin, one of their best defensive linemen, a native of nearby Temple, Texas. Got a 3rd down coming up here for the Cowboys, leading 28-0, under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Now, if I'm Baylor's defense, I am making sure that I have Dillon Stoner accounted for. He's at the top of your screen.
Sanders looking that way. And again runs for the first down. Man, I like his grip.
I do too, and I just think, to me, I think he's underwhelmed a little bit running the football this year compared to last year, but he did a great job today. Decision when to run, then once you commit to it, can you make something happen? That was a good job. He didn't just continue to go to the outside, east-west, stuck his right foot in the ground and got positive yardage and moves the chains. Excellent decision, excellent execution.
Keep feeding Richardson. And not much there this time. Flag down. Kind of a stretch play for the rookie.
Holding. Offense number 50. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Rye Schneider. He's the center. He's the only offensive lineman, Rocky, who's played every game at the same position this year for the Cowboys. We talked about the number of injuries they've had up front.
And imagine for Schneider, just, I know they don't huddle much, but, just looking around at different guys at different positions all year for Oklahoma State. That's the one position group that, we talk about the skill players, but the offensive, it's just really inhibited what they want to do when you're talking different offensive linemen there, different skill sets, just not playing to their strengths.
Here comes the pressure. Petrie runs down Sanders with a sack on first down. Jalen Petrie.
He's such a force in the blitz game. There he is right there, little delay, and then boom, then he puts the foot in the ground and goes. He just gets underneath the tackle, and it looked like, that was a tight end. It was going on a delay, but you see the speed. So Spencer Sanders wanted to come back and throw over top to the tight end, but it was just, Petrie just got there too quickly.
Richardson again. Petrie plays that star backer position in Ron Roberts' defense. Explain what that is and what his role is.
The role is he's our best player, so let's just put him somewhere to make something happen. Is it a linebacker? Is it a safety? Is it a corner? No one really knows, but it's just a position you're seeing often in football these days, they take the best player, the most athletic player, and don't give him something where he's got to read a bunch of stuff. Let him go. Let him attack. And that's what they do. That's how they set up Jalen Petrie. He does such a great job at it.
He's fun to watch. So now it's 3rd and 25.
Look for him here.
He's going to run it. Conservative play. And here comes the punting unit. But Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator, there he is in his first year. When Dave Aranda called him, they didn't even talk salary. He says, when do you need me in Waco? I'll be there.
That's not good negotiation, right?
So Ron Roberts actually was Dave Aranda's boss at Delta State 15 years ago. He hired Aranda to be his defensive coordinator. Now the boss is the boss's boss.
The circle of life, right? That's good stuff.
Working for the boss.
These coaches, they got good relationships with one another. And
I thought it was interesting too. We asked him, does Dave still have some sort of control on what goes on in the defensive room? And he said, yeah, a little bit, but he has, for the most part, given me control of the defense.
And I think that's got to make Ron Roberts happy, right? Not to have somebody looking over his shoulder all the time and, hey, coach, what are we calling here? What are you installing? He trusts Ron Roberts, says, look, you take care of the defense. And I agree with that. A head coach, especially in his first season, he got so much to worry about. It's hard to do that head coach plus coordinator role.
Fair catch, Ebner. Baylor has it at the 14 with 1:17 to go before half. Let's talk to Matt. You and I have done a lot of MAC games this year, and looking forward to that MAC championship next Friday night in Detroit. Can't wait to see those highlights at the half. All right, so here comes the Baylor offense. They are finding a running back in the flat, Quaylen Jones. Can they get a spark here to get some points on the board before half? There's just been nothing offensively, just 35 total yards so far.
Nothing is working. Oklahoma State's defense not threatened. I feel like you got to start to find a way to stretch the field. Get the ball back to Snead. There he is up there. Go deep a little bit here.
And nobody home. Quickly, it's 3rd down. Again, they're playing without their offensive coordinator, Larry Fedora, and several of the offensive staff. Only 3 offensive coaches available today. And running backs coach Justin Johnson and 2 GAs are it. Johnson calling the plays for the first time.
I mean, literally the only offensive coach that's a position coach. There's only one. It's Justin Johnson. He's also calling the plays. 2 GAs are helping out. That's how bad the situation is for Baylor.
Brewer bumped. He'll check it down. Jones.
Wow. What a great tackle.
To the 26-yard line, and Holmes makes that stop. Man. That's one of the better plays we've seen from this offense. We got a cowboy down.
Great open field tackle by Harper. There's a lot of room, a lot of space. 13 comes up and shuts it down.
One of the better players on this Oklahoma State defense, defensive end Trace Ford, down on the field with 57 seconds to go before half. Well, our Week 14 AFC North Monday Night Football matchup is packed with playoff implications. Baker Mayfield, the 9-3 Browns, hosting Lamar Jackson and the 7-5 Ravens, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6. The Browns, they've won 4 straight. They've clinched a winning season for the first time since 2007. And 18 years since they last made the playoffs. It looks like that streak's going to end. Great quarterback matchup there.
It is. Baker Mayfield playing his best football. He's not turning the ball over. That's always been his issue. But both those teams, 2 of the top rushing teams in the NFL. Looking forward to that one. There are going to be some haymakers thrown in that game.
Well, you hate to see this. Final game of the regular season. And essentially, nothing on the line. Playing for pride for the most part. And you got a guy down, and you hope that it's not a serious injury.
Oh, Gundy just mouthed the words ACL.
So many injuries for both of these teams.
Oh, and you can see how upset Trace Ford is. God, you hate this. This just makes you sick.
Really coming into his own, the sophomore out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Put on some extra weight this year, which beefed him up to around 250, 260, and it's helped him on that defensive end position, and he's putting no weight on that right side.
Yeah, and he's just really starting to understand the game of football. Incredible athlete, and now understanding defense more. And golly, you just hope something good can come from that. Getting injured in the last game of the season like that. Hate it.
Baylor has 0 rushing yards in the first half.
It's been an issue all year for him. Ran the ball so well last year.
Brewer tries to flip it downfield. Looking to get it to Holmes, can't. And he takes another shot. Man, and he's taken a lot of shots this year.
A lot of hits. You know, and look, you can tell he's starting, this pressure starting to get to him. Getting hit the way he is, nowhere to go with the football. And they're bringing a lot of pressure, a lot of heat here to line him up.
What a contrast. Last year in Stillwater against the Cowboys, threw for over 300 yards, but he had a whole arsenal around him. He has nobody around him today. Everybody's banged up.
Nowhere to go with the ball. Great coverage.
Calvin Bundage getting in his grill on that play. A senior linebacker.
Coverage was deep, it was shallow, it was to the left side of the field, it was to the right side of the field. I mean, everywhere you look. I mean, he's trying to find someone down here in this area. There's an open area of the field. But look, tight there, tight there. There's just really just nowhere to go with the ball.
Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, compared Brewer to Sam Ellinger. Just how tough and how heady and gritty he is.
Tough player.
Looking for something downfield, directing traffic, throws on the run, got it to Jones, but well short of the line to gain. It's going to be 4th down.
And this team is really missing Tyquan Thornton right now. Big, tall, wide receiver, can stretch the field a little bit. You know, R.J. Sneed is their best receiver right now, and with all the focus on him, looking at just another 3-man rush, dropping 8 into covers. There's nowhere to go with the ball.
Another guy that they're missing at wide receiver today, Josh Fleeks. Forgot about him, the junior out of Dallas. And last year against Oklahoma State, he had a big game, 3 catches for 126 and a touchdown. He's unavailable today.
Everybody's unavailable. I mean, you know, John Lovett's not playing. Jonah White was a scratch just today. Tristan Ebner, you know, he started off the game, but he's not had that ankle injury. Haven't seen him lately. It's just that and the combination of an offensive line that's been a detriment all year. It just makes for a long day for Charlie Brewer.
Matt and the gang in the studio with our halftime report coming up in just seconds. A lot to talk about. There are games being played. We've had quite a few cancellations this weekend, including 2 in the Big 12, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Texas, and Kansas. But a game between Baylor and Oklahoma State, which looked in doubt on Thursday, is being played. It's been all Oklahoma State so far here in the first half. And that is going to be roughing the punter. And Flanagan just came roaring in.
Just drives a special teams coach.
Running into the kicker, receiving team number 18. 5-yard penalty is sufficient for a first down.
And Sean Flanagan, sophomore, strong safety on special teams, running into the punter here.
You got to know the situations. 3rd and 4, so you know a penalty, even just running into the kicker, is going to give the offense a first down, and it's a little bit careless there.
Isaac Power wore it like a champ, though.
Hey, part of it, you got to sell it.
So you wonder if they might just take a knee here and get it to the locker room.
Yeah, they may here. Everybody deep for Oklahoma State. Nothing gets behind you.
They will take a shot. Brewer sails it over the head of Jones with 5 seconds left on the clock.
Brewer saying come back to that ball, but they tried to get Snead, who was over the top of the screen, went deep, but smartly had good coverage underneath, but then rolled the safety over the top of him. They know that's the best deep option for Charlie Brewer.
There's Snead.
See where they move him here. He's going to come down.
Now, Oklahoma State said this week we've got to be physical with numeral 0, and they have been. Matched up with Christian Holmes, the corner on this play. Final play of the first half. Brewer scrambling around, and another incompletion to the sideline. It's been that kind of half for the Baylor Bears, just 52 yards of offense. Contrast that with 347 for Oklahoma State, 3 touchdown passes for Spencer Sanders, all Cowboys at the break. Time for the halftime report. We send it to the studio and Matt. College football presented by Tide. We're in Waco, Texas, alongside Rocky Boyman on play. Matvick. 28-0 Cowboys leading Baylor at the half, and this thing started to get sideways for Baylor on the second play from scrimmage for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and he finds Dillon Stoner. He found him often in that first half play. Dillon Stoner, 6 catches for 180 yards. That was his second touchdown. Here comes the third, little lazy crosser. Then he turns on the Jets and outruns the Baylor defense. And then how about the freshman running back Richardson running over people, getting in the end zone? All Oklahoma State in that first half.
We talked about Baylor just being hit hard with injuries, COVID tracing. They are down a lot of personnel, and they're down coaches. And it's kind of been reflected in the first half statistics. Look at that. No rushing yards for the Bears in the first half. Running the ball's been a problem all year, but it's especially a problem now.
Yeah, no question. Tristan Ebner started off the game, but we haven't seen him the last couple of series. He came in with a high ankle sprain. Of course, no John Lovett, no Jonah White. Tough sledding.
Baylor will start with the ball here in the second half, and it is Ebner trying to cut to the middle of the field, and he is covered quickly.
Great job
Jake
by Schultz.
Just getting down there and throwing his weight around.
And that can just set the tone. You know, the conversation, Baylor at halftime, hey, let's come out, let's get something going here early, and you get a nice special teams tackle inside the 15-yard line. But now let's see what Charlie Brewer can do. It's been a tough first halves for him. Not a lot of time to throw the ball, been sacked a couple times. The coverage down the field for Oklahoma State, I think, has been another talk-about story in this game.
And again, Baylor doesn't have their regular offensive coordinator, Larry Fedora, unavailable today. Here's the comeback to R.J. Snead. That's not going to bear much fruit. In fact, that's a loss of a yard. Brewer 8 of 18 for 52 yards in the first half. That's pretty much the extent of the offense from the first half hour.
Really has. They try a little screen here. But look at the defensive line turn the run here by Oklahoma State. That's what you got to have. Get them big boys, yeah. There's some kill shots you can have with that little underneath tunnel screen when those defensive linemen plant their foot in the ground, boom, come downhill.
And here they are throwing it. That's what they've got to do. They throw it to run it as Holmes makes that catch. And Dave Aranda tried to explain that to us this week. That's where they are right now because of the personnel limitations they have.
Yeah, the plan was, hey, let's stretch the field a little bit. Let's attack the perimeter. Let's get this defense spread out a little bit. Then we'll run the ball. It just hasn't worked out that way.
3rd down and 7. Baylor just 1 third down conversion today. They're 1 of 8.
Still think Brewer needs to use his legs, try to pick up some yards with run around, extend the plays.
Brewer has time to throw here. Cocks his arm, fires, and it's incomplete. That's the second time he's targeted Seth Jones, the second time they've come up empty. And it's a 3 and out for the Bears. They're going to have to kick. you know, you kind of feel sorry for the Bears in the situation they're in here today, but you also have to tip your hat. They have said, we want to play this game this week despite all of the limitations, and we're playing here in the final day of the regular season.
Yeah, I give them credit for coming out here and playing, not just with the personnel they've had out, the players, but as we talked about, the coaches. Only 3 offensive coaches available, only one of which is even a position coach. Justin Johnson's calling the plays today for the first time ever in his career.
And that punt is shanked by Isaac Power, and it rolls out near the 35-yard line. And you can see the dejection on Power as the sophomore from Castle Rock, Colorado, comes back to the sideline, and he has really put the defense for the Baylors in a tough spot. Well, if you can't make it to the playoff in Miami, join us virtually for the College Football Playoff All Access experience featuring exclusive content, chance to win prizes. Register today at collegefootballplayoff.com/all access. The Big 12 still has an outside shot at getting a team into the playoff, and that comes thanks to Iowa State and the season they've put together. Number 7 in the College Football Playoff rankings, jumped ahead of Cincinnati this past week. Sanders goes down, crumpled at the 40-yard line. There's number 8 again.
Jalen Petrie. Drop back, nowhere to go with the ball, and then you just see the closing speed by Jalen Petrie. Baylor defense has been great heading into this game. They haven't performed well today, but number 8's done a good job, as he always does.
Remember, he was very close to being thrown out of this game for targeting. That was
which I thought was a good no call. It was overturned, and I agree
too.
with it. Yeah.
Here's Desmond Jackson, strong, hard run, gets back to the original line of scrimmage and a couple more. But getting back to Iowa State, what did you make of them jumping ahead of 8-0 Cincinnati to go to number 7?
I disagree with that. I think, first of all, Iowa State, of course, has 2 losses on the season, including a 17-point loss to Louisiana. And I know they're playing well. They've got a good team. But my eyeballs tell me when I watch Iowa State and I watch the Bearcats, I think unit to unit, player to player, UC's the better football team.
Jackson again. And it's not going to be enough. It's going to be 4th down. We'll see what Gundy decides to do if he attempts a long field goal here. Keep the offense out on the field. But it'll be Iowa State and Oklahoma in Arlington next week for the Big 12 title presented by Dr. Pepper.
Now you talk about, again, a lot of things can happen here, but say Iowa State somehow comes out and just puts a whipping on Oklahoma. That may turn some heads there late, you know? I think it's so crucial how you play and the performance you put on late in the season like that, you win some more points.
Sanders, he's going to sprint out and try and pick it up. Kind of slipped. And he didn't get there. The turf monster got him, and then Petrie cleaned him up, and Baylor will take over on downs. Maybe a little spark here for the Bears.
Yeah, a little nice win there for Baylor. And I think Sanders, I'm not sure if he was, Gundy just wanted him to kind of jump, try to get him to jump off sides or what, but he took it in his own hands there and the slip will give the Bears the ball back.
There's Baylor's acting offensive coordinator, Justin Johnson, with his back to us, trying to get some answers here for this offense. Again, only 3 offensive coaches available today.
And 2 of them, are GAs. Really only 1 coach is actually even a position coach. A very empty press box for the offensive coaches for Baylor.
Oh boy, it's miserable, I'm sure, for these Baylor Bears.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 61, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that's Khalil Keith. He's had some trouble with penalties here the last couple of weeks. How do you think Justin Johnson, where did he start when he was told what was going to happen? You're going to be calling plays here in a few hours. How are you going to pull this off?
Well, first thing he had to decide, am I going to be on the field? Am I going to be in the booth? And he kind of went back and forth and decided he wanted to be on the field, wanted to be able to look his guys in the eye out there, but it's tough. I mean, he just learned he was going to be in this position yesterday.
After the penalty, 1st and 15, Jones makes the catch. Get back to the line of scrimmage And a few more yards.
And Clay, it's so bad offensively that the senior associate athletic director for football, Austin Thomas, has gone away from that role and has gone up in the booth to just kind of help out the coaching staff here a little bit. It's just really thin right now.
5 of their top 8 pass catchers out or playing hurt. They're down their star running backs. Quaylen Jones takes a shot there along the sideline. It's going to be 3rd down and medium. 3rd downs have been bad for Baylor today. They've only converted once.
And this is the more manageable 3rd down they've had all game. A lot of times just been 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 plus. And that just comes from not being able to run the ball. Still zero rushing yards on the
0 rushing yards. And we're almost 5 minutes into the 3rd quarter. They're going to pass again. Brewer sprints out to the left. He's got a path. Now it closes on him as Colby Harvell-Peel cut him off and kept him from picking up the 1st down, and the Bears will kick again.
To me, the most impressive thing about this game that I didn't really know coming into it was just how good Oklahoma State has been covering people. You know, they've given them a lot of big plays this year defensively, a lot of big runs, a lot of wide receivers have gotten over their head today. They are covering those guys like glue.
Isaac Power shanked his last punt as Presley awaits at the Oklahoma State 35. This is a high kick this time. Much better punt for Power. Hey, tonight, UFC 256 in Las Vegas will be entertaining. Flyweight champ Davison Figueiredo defending his belt against #1 contender Brandon Moreno. Prelims start at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes, with the main card on pay-per-view at 10 Eastern.
I wouldn't mess with any of those guys. Tough. How about this guy today? Speaking of playing tough.
Yeah, don't mess with this guy either.
Spencer Sanders having a day.
Looks relaxed.
He does. Looks poised. Looks confident. That's something you just at times I've not seen this season. Comes Petrie off the edge.
They're going to run it. And there's Richardson again. He was the leading rusher for the Cowboys in the 1st half. That's his 10th carry today as Abram Smith, #28, makes another tackle. You know, he's going to be a senior next year. And I got to believe they're never going to move him back to running back after the way he's played.
Right. And every week it's been 12 tackles, 11 tackles, 13 tackles. That's your job as a linebacker. Tackle people, and Abram Smith doing a great job of it.
No gain on that play. Richardson will try the right side, find some leverage. Look out. Here goes Dominic Richardson down the sideline. Big play for the Cowboys inside the 25 to the 21.
Zone run. What are you going to do? You're going to cut it back? You're going to bounce it? Yeah, he said, I'm going to bounce it. And then look at the speed. Running away from the linebacker down the sideline. Dominic Richardson today, Clay, he's running over guys. He's running away from guys. I think they've found a future star here in the young freshman.
That's a 53-yard carry. A pre-snap penalty.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Josh Sills, the West Virginia transfer. Left guard playing right tackle because of the injuries on the O-line. Shaking his head there.
You talking to his offensive line, they'll tell you that's not easy to do. All offensive line is offensive line. No, you go from a left guard to now a right tackle. That's a completely different ball game. I think he's done a good job here this year considering.
So I back it up 5, 1st and 15. Cowboys in the red zone again. And that was off the mark. That failed to click, the communication. Because Sanders was expecting the receiver to come back, and that's the first time that Sanders and Stoner haven't been on the same page today.
Yeah, and I think it looked like Sanders thought because it was zone, he was going to come up here and come back to that football, but instead Stoner decides he's going to take it up the sideline, and Stoner was the one wrong there.
Raleigh
Zone should have sat that down, yeah.
Almost got that pick. Sanders has been picked off once today. Really his only demerit. Richardson rubbed out there by Petrie. So a third down coming up. You know, again, the red zone deal for Oklahoma State has been a little bit of a problem this year, and it's part of the reason they're still not in the Big 12 title hunt.
Absolutely. It really is. It's been a detriment, especially last week. They got a couple turnovers, get the ball back to the offense. They can't punch it in.
He's going to go to the end zone, looking for Martin. A battle. Who's got it?
I think Zeke Brown might have come down with this ball. We'll see.
It's like a WWE match in the end zone.
No one wants to give it up. It looked to me as Zeke Brown picked this ball off.
Zeke Brown and Tay Martin, neither one wanting to give in.
Don't move.
There are guys up in the outer circle wanting to tag in.
They may stay in that position all game.
That's going to be a touchback. Interception, Zeke Brown.
And Spencer Sanders has been picking on this secondary, the cornerbacks for Baylor all day. They're down a lot of guys, only 3 cornerbacks dressed today that have any experience. Zeke Brown, they've been completing some passes on him, but how about the bounce back? Go to the end zone. Zeke Brown jumps up, intercepts that ball. What a bounce back.
Former walk-on playing today because Kalen Barnes is out. Got his master's degree this week in engineering and has his first interception. Zeke Brown hanging on and winning the fight.
ESPN College Football presented by Tide is brought to you by Duluth Trading Company. Tough, ingenious workwear designed and tested by tradesmen. And Popeye's Chicken Sandwich.
28-0 Oklahoma State. Baylor with that pick from Zeke Brown moments ago.
As a cornerback, you don't look back for the ball until you've closed the gap. Close the gap, then you look back for the football. That's textbook. So many times you see the cornerback look back when there's too much separation. That slows him down, allows the wide receiver to catch it. But he makes up that distance, then the presence of mind to turn around. Great job, Zeke Brown.
And it's a big bout tonight in Vegas, UFC, right?
Yeah.
The prelims, I thought, were starting at 8
right.
Eastern.
Little scrum, is that what they call it? I don't know.
That looked like a prelim to me. We're seeing Tay McWilliams getting some action for the Baylor run game. They push the rugby scrum up close to a first down. McWilliams getting an opportunity. Another true freshman. There he is, number 22 out of Richmond, Texas.
And partner, you mentioned right before that play the red zone struggles for Oklahoma State, and you saw it right there again. Interception.
That is just the second third down conversion today for the Bears. But yeah, the red zone for Sanders has been difficult. He's thrown some red zone interceptions this year. There's another one, but all in all, he's had a good day.
He has had a good day, but I think the red zone, it's so critical to run the ball because that area of the field, the defense gets condensed down. There's not as much room to throw. So that's the point where you've got to be able to run the football. And I don't think Oklahoma State's been able to do that in that area of the field.
Brewer scrambling around again. He's going to throw it away. Just nothing downfield. So this is the season finale for Baylor. As we'll take another look.
Yeah, there's going to be some clinic tape they're going to take in the next offseason, Oklahoma State, and just in terms of coverage and how to do it well. And Dave Aranda, I'm sure, very frustrated. Give him credit for wanting to play this game despite all the deficiencies and the coaches being out, but offensively they've had nothing going today.
Fake the handoff to McWilliams off his back foot. Nobody there. Closest receiver, Jalen Ellis. And it's third down and 10. This game was originally scheduled for October 17th. Baylor's going to end up playing only 9 games this season. Their 2 attempts to play a non-conference game were dashed by COVID, of course, back in September. And they have no plans to schedule an opponent next week. There was some talk that, well, maybe they'll play another game next week. And even if they wanted to, physically, I don't know if they have enough personnel.
Injuries, ton of injuries, COVID issues.
Here's Jalen Ellis, who was a game-time decision. He had his first career catch last week, went for 39 yards. Redshirt freshman out of Round Rock, Texas. Well short on the line to gain, so Isaac Power will come out to punt again. There's a battered Charlie Brewer.
Yeah, he came off the field there kind of holding that left arm with his rib or his side or something. He's been banged around a lot today. Of course, he has the opportunity to come back next year. Every player is not dinged a year of eligibility, so if he does come back, hopefully they get that offensive line situation squared away, get some weapons back for Charlie Brewer.
Yeah, Dave Aranda kind of intimated that's a pretty good possibility that he would come back. Time for our Aflac trivia question. 2 teams last week in the Big 12 were +4 in turnover margin and still lost. All right, we know that one of them is Oklahoma State. As they were +4 and 5 takeaways against TCU and couldn't get it done. Who's the other one?
Well, let me think. We might need to. We can narrow it because so many games canceled. There's probably only 2 or 3 other Big 12 games. Kansas. Yeah.
How about that? There have been only 13 teams in the last 5 years in college football FBS play +4 in turnover margin and lost. And it happened on the same weekend to 2 teams from the same conference. Kansas and Oklahoma State.
For Oklahoma State, they get 5 takeaways, but 4 of those 5 they got 0 points out of them.
Yeah.
Can't have it.
So Oklahoma State's not sure what bowl game they're going to be going to. It really doesn't matter when you ask Mike Gundy. He told us this week, our staff and players are going to be ready to go. We're going to compete. That's what we instill at Oklahoma State. Last year they lost to Texas A&M in the Texas Bowl. There's a chance they could get that bowl again.
Yeah.
But it's the 15th straight year that they're going to a bowl. That's the 8th longest active streak in the FBS.
Pretty good.
It really is. Sanders pressured out of the pocket, being chased. He's going to run it up the sideline. See where they mark him out. He's got it, I think. First down for the Cowboys.
I think he's done a good job in the decision making today of when to throw it, when to run it. Right there is covered up. Instead of trying to just throw one up, he uses his legs. That's certainly a big weapon of his. Not something normal for this out of the quarterback position that Mike Gundy normally uses, but you think back to Mason Rudolph and Brandon Wheaton, those were just pocket guys who were just slinging around. Spencer Sanders has the added element of his legs.
Well, and he also has to because of how banged up this O-line is. A lot of the times he's running for his life. Boy, Jackson was caught up too quickly by Petrie.
And there he is. He's just going to creep down, and then the speed. You just can't outrun him. Watch this. Times it up, and then this is just raw speed. I mean, that you don't coach. That's given by the man upstairs. Watch him just enter the screen. Look at that. Chewing up ground. And Jalen Petrie's 6 foot 200. He plays like he's about 6'3", 220 out there.
And bulletproof.
Yes. Showing pressure here.
2nd and 10, Sanders pumps, wants to go deep. Has a man. There's Stoner. He got another one. Good night. Another big play, Sanders to Stoner.
Dillon Stoner unstoppable, 6 for 180 in the first half, 3 touchdowns. Let's just throw it up to number 17 again. See if he comes down with it. Just judges the ball, and then he makes contested catches. I mean, there's 2 Baylor Bears around him, pulling on him a little bit. Hands are up in the way. The ball coming in, still finds a way to come down with it.
That play goes for 50 yards, and here the Cowboys back in the red zone again.
I think they got to try to run the ball here. So we got to be able to run it.
No, they don't want to throw, and he's going to the end zone, trying for Stoner. That's out in front of him.
Pass intended for Dillon Stoner. Coverage on the play.
And this is an offense. I mean, Casey Dunn, the offensive coordinator, told us this week that they want to throw the ball 60+% of the time. I still gotta like some more balance here, especially this area of the field. And I know there's no Chuba Hubbard. That's a big deal here, but Dominic Richardson has done a great job in that area today. See, he's the lone running back there.
There's a look at offensive coordinator Casey Dunn. See what they do on 2nd and 10. They get it to Wolf, and he's knocked out by Tejada at the 7.
And if me, I'm right here, especially now, 3rd and short here. Let's try to run this football. Let's try to impose our will upon the Baylor defensive line and punch this thing in with a run.
Well, they've got Dominic Richardson out on the field. He's got a touchdown run, his first career touchdown run already today. Oh, and now coming over is Jelani Woods to take the snap. The Cowboy back, all 6'7", 275, and he pushes ahead for the first down.
Partner, I've watched a lot of football in my life. I don't know if I've ever seen that play. You motion in a 6'7" tight end, and he takes the snap and just steamrolling guys. I like that play. That's great.
Well, he came to Oklahoma State as a quarterback. He knows how to take snaps from center.
Good call. There you go, run it.
Richardson banging off of tacklers, and he finds pay dirt. 2-touchdown day for the rookie out of Oklahoma City, Dominic Richardson.
And Clay, with next year, obviously Chuba Hubbard is moving on, so who's going to take that role? I think Dominic Richardson has said, that's me. I'm the guy that can now step up and be that running back with no Chuba Hubbard. He's had an exceptional day today. We see the speed, also just the power inside, running over guys.
Now Brady Pohl will come on for the extra point. 8 plays, 75 yards, just over 3 minutes. Mike Gundy and the Cowboys have had their disappointments this year, but they have rallied here today in the Big 12 regular season finale in Waco. Welcome back to the Big 12 on ESPN. And during these challenging times, ESPN and the V Foundation's fight against cancer has not stopped. If you're able to, please support our cancer research by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. I know you lost an aunt to cancer. I've got an uncle who's fought back cancer 4 times, and he's made it to 72 and he's still kicking.
One of those things is a part of everyone's life in some way. Everyone has a family member, a friend that's, man, if we can do any more we can do to help eradicate that nasty disease.
Tristan Ebner getting a little feisty there on the Baylor sideline. That kind of speaks for, I'm sure, how many on that Baylor sideline feel. It's been a tough day, down 35-0. And here's Jacob Zeno, the 3rd-string quarterback, redshirt freshman out of San Antonio, who comes in to run the offense. He's going to hand off to Quaylon Jones.
And he comes into some cheers from this Baylor crowd. They're excited to see him get a little action here.
I don't think it's Charlie Brewer's fault that the offense has been stagnant today. They've got so many limitations because of the lack of personnel. I just think that this is, something to try to maybe give the offense a spark and give Jacob Zeno some Big 12 snaps here on the final day of the regular season.
Partner, I agree with you. I mean, 35-0 at this point. Not really Brewer's fault, but yeah, let's get a few reps here. Get some playing time is always important to establish depth.
And an Oklahoma State player down. And it's along the sideline. Can't catch a number. Rocky, I don't know. Oh, there it is. It's Christian Holmes. Yep, the cornerback. Grad transfer from Missouri. He's had to step up today because Rodarius Williams, their best cornerback, is unavailable today. This was his first start as an Oklahoma State Cowboy, and you hope he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget, next Sunday, we're going to have the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff matchups in the Rose Bowl and the All-State Sugar Bowl to be played on New Year's Day. Reese and the guys will also unveil the New Year's 6 bowl games and have the final top 25 rankings in this 4-hour special. 4 hours, Rock. It all starts at noon Eastern after Sunday NFL Countdown on ESPN and the app. And again, Bill Hancock, the executive director of the college football playoff, made it known today, came out with a statement that they are taking every measure to play those semifinal games and the national championship on January 11th. And they are going to be meticulous with the protocols to make sure that everybody is healthy and safe, but they are going to get those games in.
Partner, we've come too far to turn back now, right? There's been so many battles each and every team and player and coach have gone through to get to this point. There's no stopping it. Of course, everything is going to be done safely and by the book, but we're not turning our backs on this thing. We're down here at the wire. Let's finish this thing off right.
Zeno in at quarterback. He'll give it to Ebner, looking for room on the right side, and he's swung down by Harvell Peel. Zeno out of John Jay High School in San Antonio. Quarterback played in 3 games last year. This is his first appearance this year for the Baylor Bears.
I mean, and you talk about him, the tough situation Charlie Brewer and his whole offense has been, and now Zeno gets some of his first action here without a lot of weapons and help around him.
He's trying to get the first down here, needs the 38-yard line. He is not going to get a pass off. He is swung down by Calvin Bundage, the team leader in sacks. He now has 6.5 on the year.
And just comes off the left side, just a speed move, goes right around Blake Bettier. Calvin Bundage, that's his 6th sack on the season. 6'1", 220, smaller guy, but boy, he's got a great first step.
Another fair catch for Presley. That's the 10th punt for Isaac Power. So Kevin Sumlin is out in Arizona after last night's inglorious loss to their rival Arizona State, 70-7.
Yeah, I watched some of that game last night. That got out of hand. And I think it's also, look, and here's the conversation. It's kind of an odd year. Do you give a coach a pass or not? But that offense is not developed at all. The young quarterback is not really developed. And then you get 70 put on you late in the season. That's maybe time to move on.
And the losing streak, I think, was at 11 games.
Yeah, it's not like this was just an aberration. It's been tough sledding for Arizona for a while.
Boy, he had it going in Houston. He had it going for a while at Texas A&M. But never found what he needed to get it right in Tucson.
Yeah, you just wonder, his success at Texas A&M came when he had some guy named Johnny Manziel running the show. That'll help a lot of things.
There's another carry for Richardson. I agree with you, though. I think, most coaches, Mike Gundy for sure, should get a pass. I understand that there are going to be critics, because you get out to a 4-0 start. You're in the college football playoff conversation, but his situation's a lot different than Kevin Sumlin's. But if you're going to get a pass any year, this is the year.
It is, and I think that's going to apply to most teams. Of course, Will Muschamp
didn't get a pass.
Didn't get a pass at all. So
that's going to do it for the third quarter. Boy, the Cowboys needed to find some offense in the regular season finale, and they have found it through 3 quarters here in Waco. Player brought to us by the Duluth Trading Company. This was a pretty easy decision.
That's right, and that was the second play of the game. Dillon Stoner takes it in for the touchdown, and then he's added a couple more since then with that 230 yards on the day. And Clay, we talked about coming into this game at the start. Both these teams kind of really not much on the line here, so which team can just get into it early and just suck all the momentum out of the other team. And that happened in Oklahoma State with that second play. getting on the board. I think that would just kind of just set the tone early.
And a penalty on her first snap of
Offside.
the fourth quarter.
Defense number 99, unabated in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Our first chance to talk about William Bradley King, not the reason he would have liked. Grad transfer from Arkansas State with the penalty.
He's been a good player for him this year. 3.5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss.
There goes Stoner in motion on 3rd down and 2. Sanders, 3 touchdown passes today. He's going to go down the middle, and he's going to find Landon Wolf for the first down into plus territory. So earlier this year, Sanders had that big game against Texas in the loss. He had 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Before this is all said and done, he could maybe eclipse those numbers.
He's well on pace here. This guy's had the 2 interceptions, but outside of that, he's been very, very strong today, going through the reads, getting the ball out of his hand, and making good decisions.
Right now he's got 330 yards through the air and the 3 touchdown passes. There's Richardson spinning at the line. No gain. As Bradley King makes that tackle. So Oklahoma State, we were talking about the bowl game, and Mike Gundy didn't care what bowl game they got. One thing's for sure, he will not opt out like we've heard some teams have decided to do. Boston College and Pitt got that started. You expect that there are going to be more teams to do it, and I guess I can understand.
Yeah, you can, because
there's COVID fatigue.
Yeah, COVID fatigue. These players, these coaches, it's just been an exhausting year for a lot of teams. And we'll certainly, to your point, see a lot more teams decide to do that. But I'm going to give credit to Mike Gundy and all those teams who say, hey, we're still going to find a way to push through here and find a way to get our football team, our program better.
In Oklahoma State, one of the teams on a short list of FBS schools this year that hasn't had to shut down because of COVID responsibilities, where they've had infections. They've handled the COVID pandemic pretty well.
Yeah, they've had some cancellations, which it's been on the other end. Done a good job handling that.
Well, that could be a first down for Richardson. 4th down here.
I think there's some degree of luck in that too. You know what I mean? It's just, COVID it's everywhere. And all these teams are taking the precautions and doing what they got to do. A little luck involved.
Right now, Mike Gundy's upset
about something.
Trying to get the special teams unit out there before they run out of play clock. And Jake McClure is going to come out to punt. McClure is the kickoff specialist. And he outkicked his coverage. Yep. That's not what they wanted to do, but they got a comfortable lead with 12:20 to go here in Waco. Cowboys leading big.
ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff, coming New Year's Day.
Can't wait. It'll be great. Rose Bowl and the All-State Sugar Bowl. Back here in Waco, Clay Mathick, Rocky Boyman, 12:20 to go. Just 73 yards of total offense for the Baylor Bears today. They're down an offensive coordinator. It's a skeleton crew. They have no running game. But they are playing, and their backup, actually 3rd-string quarterback, Jacob Zeno, has been taking the snaps in the last couple of series.
It's an opportunity for Jacob Zeno, despite all the deficiencies they have out there in the situation. Let me show you he has something. There we go. We'll run.
It's a dual threat, that's for sure. It's going to cross the 25 to the 27, 3rd down.
At least makes it a manageable 3rd down here. That's what they've not had many of here today. And that's mainly because of the lack of run game that they've had. Just 8 rush yards in this game.
There's a rushing first down. Quaylen Jones out at the 33. Building for the future. That's what Dave Aranda and his Bears staff are going to try to do here. They've had success at points during the season. Got out to a good start with a win over Kansas in the season opener.
And I still think they got the right guy. I mean, Dave Aranda is a culture guy. I mean, first of all, you talk to him, golly, I mean, he's just captivating, just his outlook on football and life and all that. And he's not getting an opportunity to build that culture and lay the groundwork, set those early stones for that. Look, and even during the season, there's 2 separate meeting rooms. Normally players eat together so they can get some camaraderie going. None of that is possible. It's just so hard in these situations for everybody, but especially first-year head coaches who are looking to build culture.
He's had success everywhere he's been. Hawaii, Utah State as a defensive coordinator. Then, of course, at Wisconsin and LSU, where he won a national championship. Excited about this opportunity. Thinks he's going to be a great fit here. I think he's got a perfect temperament for this school, for this community.
I think he does. Yeah, laid back, but I mean he's aggressive, but doesn't let things get to him.
R.J. Sneed, it's a first down reception out to the 44. And let's see if Baylor can get off the schneid here, get in the end zone, and get some positive here late.
Good job there by Jacob Zeno. Scanning the field, finding the open guy.
Again, 47 players, coaches, and staff unavailable today for Baylor. Now, not all COVID related, just unavailable.
A lot of injuries, a lot of everything.
Yeah. So it's just amazing that they're out here playing at all. Zeno going to try a deep pass. There's some contact. Fans wanted a penalty flag, and they're not going to get it.
Yeah, I think that was incidental.
Pretty good crowd here today. I think they allowed 12,000 into the stadium.
It's hard to tell. They're sprinkled all throughout here, but you say a lively crowd. There's been a few games you and I have had this year, Clay, where there's been nobody in the stand. Like
you and
nobody.
Me, and that's it.
That's right. It's just weird and eerie watching a college football game, no one in the stands.
One thing about the COVID era, it's easy to park around the stadium.
And easy to get out.
There's McWilliams, good run inside the 40 as we go to the studio with Matt. Wow. Coastal Carolina unbeaten. They're on the ropes.
On the ropes, how about that? Wow. 1:20 left to go. 3-point lead. The dream season.
You talk about a hot coach.
Oh wow,
Chadwell.
Yeah. He's going to be
a hot name. On the draw, Zeno right up the middle. And look at this, Baylor's inside the 25. Got something going with 9 minutes to play.
And I talked about this early in the game. That's something Charlie Brewer either just wasn't willing to do or just couldn't, but just the quarterback run. When you don't have any running backs and you're down some wide receivers, utilize the skill set that you have. That's running the football, and Jacob Zeno, nice job, good decision there. Using his legs, using that asset, picking up the first down.
Best drive of the day for Baylor. Zeno going the wrong way, and he's just going to get rid of it. Smart play for the young man.
Good job
Take a sack there.
Yeah, good job getting outside the pocket there so he can throw that ball away. Nice decision by the youngster there.
Cody Walter shied with pressure. His older brother Cole played defensive end at Oklahoma State a few years ago. Jim Knowles' defense be able to get out of this one with a shutout.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I played defense my whole life, and that's, you get into the fourth quarter in the defense. Come on, guys, let's keep that 0 on the board.
Badge of honor. McWilliams. Dave Aranda said wanted to get him an opportunity today. He's getting it here in the second half. Bundage with that tackle, and it's 3rd down and long.
Here you wonder, Oklahoma State, young quarterback, I think they may dial up some pressure here. Normally they've been dropping 8 most of the day. They're showing pressure.
And Bundage coming off the edge. He's their sack master. And that pass is incomplete. Zeno just tried to get it out quickly and too quickly maybe, and it's 4th down. So we'll see what Dave Aranda decides to do. They're going to attempt a field goal for John Mayers, it looks like.
I guess they just want to try to get some points on the board here and try to find a drive to have some success.
Mayers 9 for 14 along of 48. This will be from 40. He missed 2 last week from 47. And also had the game winner to beat Kansas State a couple of weeks ago. And how about that? Mayers gets Baylor off the schneid. They will not be shut out today.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tide. If it's got to be a clean you can trust, it's got to be Tide Hygienic Clean.
Well, Jacob Zeno leads a scoring drive. It results in a field goal. John Mayers gets Baylor on the board, but it's gone from bad to worse for the Baylor Bears on the injury front. Charlie Brewer is out of the game. Yeah, we don't know for sure what the injury is, but he's out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, a couple of series ago we saw him come off the field and he was grabbing at something on his left side there, and again, don't know exactly what it was, but he's been hit a lot. He's been chased around a lot today. Tough day at the office for Charlie Brewer. Let's hope it's not serious.
Yeah, sacked 4 times. He's a tough kid. Under 8 to go. Let's go back to the studio and Matt for another update. Florida and Bama SEC title game next week. That should be good. How about Coastal, though, coming right back in under a minute?
We had that earlier update, and it's, Troy's going to get it. We turn around and they've gone down and scored. Look at this.
Look at Richardson down the sideline to the 31-yard line. Been impressed by Dominic Richardson, the true freshman.
It's been a coming out party for Dominic Richardson. Zone run to the outside, patience, then let's stick it up in there, then go. That's what you got to do. You got to wait for those holes to open up, and once they do, you got to nail them.
Well,
now really good feel, yeah.
Now he has to dive on the loose football. That was a 44-yard run for Richardson. We haven't seen a ton of Desmond Jackson really flashing today. It's been mostly Richardson here in the second half, and we didn't see L.D. Brown at all. And we knew that he was going to be a game-time decision. He's been dealing with that MCL strain, so they erred on the side of caution and didn't play LD today.
As a guy, I've had an MCL injury in my career. That's a weird, odd injury. You feel like your whole knee's exposed. It's the interior ligament on the inside part of your leg. Just feels like your leg's kind of flapping out there.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's not.
Spencer Sanders will track out of bounds at the 26. How would you grade Spencer Sanders out today?
It's odd because, you look at the stat line here and you see the 2 interceptions. He's made a couple bad throws, but outside of those 2 mistakes, it's been all positive. I think he's reading the field well. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He's hitting open guys, going through the progressions. I think overall, a very good day for Spencer Sanders.
There's Richardson spinning inside the 20. Mike Gundy in his 16th year with the Cowboys said it before, they're going to be going to a bowl game for the 15th straight year. Yeah, there have been some critics here in the last few weeks of the season, but all in all, it's been an amazing run at Oklahoma State. And his son Gavin got a little testy, I think, with the Twitter critics, social media critics this week.
I liked it. I like a family member sticking up for another family member. He'd had enough. He was tired of all the second guessing and words about his dad.
Stoner, can he get in? Oh, they're going to mark him just short. He almost had his 4th.
He's been the star today. No Tylan Wallace. You're without somebody who can step up. It's been Dillon Stoner and he's been good on the deep ball. He's been good at the short routes. Just great hands, great just feel for the football game.
8 catches, 247, and 3 touchdowns for Stoner. Richardson lowered his head, and he was met at the line by Dillon Doyle, the transfer from Iowa.
And it looked like Abram Smith came in, and it was man on man in the hole here. And you wonder if the head of Abram Smith was down, may have gotten something going with his neck there. Let's watch this collision. Dominic Roy, he said he's going to try to run him over. Abram Smith up in that hole. There's a good shot. There.
Ooh. Nope, it's just a stinger.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Good. Good to see him up, bouncing up off the turf there.
Well, he's been so good. Again, became the starting weak side linebacker after the season-ending injury to Terrell Bernard. Was a running back before being moved to this side of the football, and he has been outstanding. So, second down and goal here for Oklahoma State. Richardson in the backfield again.
Down this area of the field a couple times today, Richardson's been lowering his shoulder and running over guys, and that time Abram Smith said, not happening.
Dayton Metcalf, the Cowboy back, is in front of him as a fullback in this formation. Sanders is going to take the play clock down a little bit more. On second and goal, Richardson easy that time, basically untouched. Dominic Richardson with his 3rd touchdown.
Great job by the offensive line. Pull him around, and then it's just all Richardson in for the touchdown.
It's a day he's going to remember. 3 touchdown day. 42-3, 4:49 left to play. It's been all Cowboys since the second play of the game, and Richardson's got a 3-touchdown game. This day's over. 13 of 26, 68 yards. Took a pounding when he was in there.
He did, and just not a lot of supporting cast for Charlie Brewer today. No run game whatsoever. They had 0 yards rushing in the entire first half, and then just down so many weapons on the outside there. No Tyquan Thornton, no Josh Fleeks.
Ebner, the 25, as we go back to the studio and Matt. Yeah, you know, it's unlikely. They're more than 3 touchdown favorites against LSU.
But that's why they play the game, partner, right?
It is. It is.
Well, it's important. Look, they're already going to be in the championship game, but if they do want to have a chance to go to the college football playoff, they cannot afford a slip up here. 2 losses, no way you get in.
That would doom them. There's Quinlan Jones. And a catch. Baylor had a drive that resulted in a field goal on their last possession to avoid the shutout, but it looks like Oklahoma State will go into the bowl season feeling a little bit better, I got to believe, after today.
Yeah, that was just a crushing loss they had last week against TCU. You know, they're in the mix there for the Big 12, and they get out to the 13-point lead, and they get the 5 takeaways on defense. Everything seemed to be working out except for second half. Max Duggan, TCU's quarterback, just really took that game over.
Yeah.
And it's good for them to bounce back here today.
They haven't won here since 2009. And they've never won in McLean Stadium. In that. Jones on first down is going to lose a yard. This defense has been exceptional. 12 tackles for loss today.
This defense can run,
They're
right?
fast.
I mean, they're fast. And coming into the game, if you would ask me who's got the faster, more dynamic defense, I would have said Baylor, just how they fly around. But I've been very pleasantly surprised at the speed of this Cowboy defense.
Jacob Zeno flushed out of the pocket, avoids the rush. Ooh, and he gets pummeled at the 42-yard line. Devin Harper came up and just stapled him, and now a flag is thrown. This might be unsportsmanlike conduct. Harper is still chirping. That's the last thing we need now.
That's right.
It's 42-3, handful of minutes left, and
I didn't see nothing wrong with the hit. It was the extracurricular stuff afterward. We'll get a look at it here.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 73, 15-yard penalty, third down.
That's the guard, Jake Burton, a senior.
See what happens after the play. There's Burton right there. See what happens. Usually it's always the second guy. Okay, there's a little shove. Oh no, oh yes, there it was. Just that second push.
A lot of frustration.
It's a good job, you know. Burton's just sticking up for his quarterback there.
Yeah.
You always kind of like to see those offensive linemen protecting their quarterback. Hey, we don't want our guy getting hit, but just a little too much, and that was certainly unneeded.
And you see Dave Aranda coming over to kind of coach him up. Hey, we don't need that. Never yells, though.
Yeah.
Dave Aranda is very, very measured.
And the important part was he spent that play on the sideline. Let's come over here. We're going to think about that a little bit.
Dave Aranda taking over for a very successful coach here in Matt Rule, who won 11 games, got Baylor to the Big 12 title game, their first Big 12 championship game appearance in program history.
Yeah, phenomenal year last year for Baylor. And it's really, to me, if you get to boil it down to one thing, it's the run game. Last year they had a great rushing attack. This year, I think they've only won over 100 yards rushing twice. It's just not been there for the Bears.
Cowboys have it. 2:18 to go. They'll run out the clock when we come back. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app, we're going to have the annual LA rivalry game, number 15 USC and UCLA at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Games at the Rose Bowl always great, even if there aren't any fans there. Victory bell on the line. USC, they're going to be in the Pac-12 title game. Colorado lost to Utah today. Just a couple of minutes left. Oklahoma State trying to run this one out. And Micah Cooper's going to get a carry, the fourth string running back today. Spencer Sanders is on the sideline. His day is over. Pretty good one, too. 20 for 30, 347, 3 touchdowns. Did throw 2 picks, but he was in command today.
And I really think those 2 picks were his only 2 bad plays. I thought he read the field well, got the ball out of his hand, which is what you need in this offense. Ran the ball when he had to. I thought one of the better games Spencer Sanders has had this season.
Shane Illingworth is in at quarterback, the true freshman. He filled in for Sanders first 3 games of the year. All wins, by the way. Also played against Oklahoma when Sanders got his bell rung. They have confidence in Illingworth going forward, too. So you got Sanders and Illingworth coming back. A junior and a sophomore next year. That's good for Gundy.
Yeah, Illingworth, the true freshman. And he's kind of more of the style that you're used to here at Oklahoma State, with just a pocket guy who's going to sling it around. Spencer Sanders adds that element of run ability.
This game got sideways for Baylor on the second play of the game when Sanders hit Stoner on that 75-yard pass, and they connected quite a few times today.
Hey, man, thanks for getting me the ball today. Well, he deserved it. Dillon Stoner, excellent.
They were terrific to watch. Cooper again, the senior. And we got a few second difference here between game and play clock. Look at that. Sanders fired up. Go into the bowl season 7-3. Yeah, there have been some disappointments here in recent weeks, but all in all, it's a good football team.
It is. You get the bad taste out of your mouth of last week, that loss to TCU, and like you said, 7 wins in this weird, odd kind of a uphill climb of a season. With all the injuries, the offensive line, I think they've done pretty well.
Last play of the day. That's it, 42-3, a game that we didn't think would be played on Thursday because of COVID and injuries. It gets played, and it's all Oklahoma State. Spencer Sanders and the Cowboys will head to Stillwater with a 7-3 record. And Dave Aranda's first season in Waco ends in defeat, but future is bright for the Baylor Bears. Cowboys get their first win in Waco since 2009. Coming up next, LSU at Florida. For now, we're going to go to the studio. And Matt.